So as predicted, it turns out that the rumors of the Final Fantasy Play Booster's demise have been greatly exaggerated. So last time we talked about this, I actually heard this directly from one distributor, but MVP out of Pennsylvania came out with a a tweet or something that said there are not going to be Final Fantasy Play Boosters coming on the market for another 3 to 4 months. So they said early Q4. I believe I did a video on it, and I call it bullshit. Uh, Not because I think they were misrepresenting the situation, but Hasbro likes money. The Hasbro executive teams like bonuses. And my prediction was they were going to have a restock land before the end of their fiscal Q2 so they could book the revenue within the quarter. So I found out a little bit ago that there is indeed a restock coming. Now, they're saying end of July, early August. I can guarantee you they're going to land it before midnight in the last day of June. So June 30th, it will be there because they're going to want to book the revenue. So that being said, I don't know the quantity yet. Apparently orders from distro are just due now. I'm guessing, for those of you who don't know, the original shipment was in 3 waves. So initially went from no allocation to allocation, 2 waves and 3 waves. The first wave was printed in the US. The boxes had a giant sticker on them, a white sticker that said printed in the US. The second 2 waves were actually printed in Japan. And the printed in Japan was ink printed on the actual cardboard itself. I'm guessing that these are going to be US prints. I've also heard that there are other play boxes coming with it. My guess is probably Tarkir. But if that's the case, they've been printing a lot of these, which is good. I don't see a scenario where the box price goes much lower than this because people are going to hold on to them and it's going to sell right around $200, 180, 190. But that being said, there's more product coming to market. Now, I have heard nothing about Commander decks, and there's still a decent amount on TCG Player here. 203 listed in the last couple days. Sales 2857. So there's still a good amount selling, and as the singles rebound from the release, pre-release, whatever dump, these are going to push up because you still have the sample packs in here that are selling regularly for 30 to 35 bucks. And the fact that there are 4,800 of these sold, I think my math was for this to be equal to what we've seen with Bloomborough and Tarkir and Modern Horizons 3, all the other good commander sets, we would have to get to about 6,400 sold. Now, that would be across multiple reprints. So in my view, this is starting to dry up. So I think we're going to see a rebound here on the commander decks. The collector commanders, I just want to talk about the display real quick. These have been lagging pretty significantly. And yeah, I've been trying to get an EV on these, but I think a lot of these sellers, they got a handful from distro, but a lot of these are Amazon dumps and onesies and twosies. And the problem is at this price point with really no chase, there haven't been a whole lot of sales. So there's 195 listed here. There's 10, maybe 20 selling a day. So these are going to sell through a little bit slower than everything else. I do want to talk about the pre-release packs are awesome. The bundles are awesome. I want to talk about Japanese, and then we'll talk about the big daddy here. So the Japanese booster boxes, these things have been completely revitalized here. They've been drawn along for the ride with the $1,000 collector boxes, which we'll talk about in a second. What's interesting is there's only 64 of these listed. These were actually more heavily allocated than the collector commanders, at least from everybody I've spoken to. And even if it only sells 5 to 10 of these a day, there's not that much product out there. Which brings us to not that much product out there. The English commander decks, collector boxes. So now this number of total quantity keeps coming up because you see all these rando sellers. These are now shipping and they're landing from Amazon. So there will be a lot of these coming to the market, but you have only a handful until, I mean, we're basically $1,000 before tax. And I mean, you can see this graph. This is an absolute home run for these guys. 66 boxes sold today. I mean, that's $66,000 of sales, which is absolutely insane. If this keeps the speed up for another month, these boxes, I mean, my prediction was they'd be $1,000 by the 4th of July. They might be $1,500 by the 4th of July because there's just no supply out there. No available supply. I know there's a lot of supply hoarded. I know we have a master case and a bunch of small cases that we're just kind of sitting here for a rainy day. Because look, we all know what's going to happen here. They're going to continue to go up. This is going to be the best product of all time. And then, Edge of Eternities is going to be probably shorter printed than Tarkir. And then Spider-Man is going to get drug right behind Final Fantasy, where everybody's going to have the FOMO and they're going to price the boxes through the roof. And all of a sudden, all of the trial and error that Wizards has done for the last 2.5 years, they've nailed it. So they have had a couple stinkers in between, but they've absolutely nailed this. And this is the first time in 20 years where I'm starting to believe what they say, which, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm scolding myself, but it seems like they're starting to get their shit together. So anyway, guys, want to put that video out because I know a lot of people still think the play boxes are a while away. We will have these probably within 3 weeks. So there'll be more coming from distro, etc. So I wouldn't FOMO on these. There's more coming, and the supply of 664 and 100 of these selling a day is probably going to continue at a lower price point. So anyway, guys, have a good one. We'll talk soon.